Now, I do think that you need to give people a chance, even if they have a bad reputation for being a difficult person, because they are difficult for a reason. So you don't know what that person could have been through in their life to cause them to behave the way they do. So how do you actually deal with these people? My first point is to be aware. So know exactly who these people are, and when you're with them or around them, be on your guard, or else you can get dragged down. So are these people maybe in your family, among your circle of friends, maybe at work? Make sure you know who they are, identify them from before so you can prepare yourself. My second point is to hear what they have to say. So don't assume that everything that is going to come out of their mouth is going to be negative just because of perhaps things that people have told you. I have a situation that I went through that I will never forget, and it really taught me a lesson. I was actually warned about someone that I was about to start working with, and I was told, you know, this person is really difficult, be careful, be on your guard, you know, don't get stuck. You know, there was a few things that the person said to me, just keep your distance, basically. And the person that told me these things, they weren't a gossip or anything, they genuinely were looking out for me. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this person a chance and get to know them, because I know over time people can change as well. So when I was in contact with this person, yes, some of the things that were said about this person were true, in terms of that she was quite harsh and very sort of, the way she spoke was could be quite rude sometimes. But then one day we were having a conversation. She actually opened up and told me about her upbringing, and saying how she grew up with brothers that were only brothers. She was the only girl in the family, and she grew up with people, and her brothers were very rough, the way they used to talk, and her mum, for example, wouldn't let her do anything around the house. So she had I would say not a difficult upbringing, but it was quite different. She didn't really learn how to express herself well. And everything made sense, and she actually ended up being a very good friend of mine. She was so lovely, we got on so well. And I actually went back to this person that told me originally about, you know, be careful. And I told her, and she said, you see, Chris, sometimes we can get people so wrong because we don't actually, you know what they've been through, or why, for example, they act and behave in certain ways. So I always say, you know, hear what they have to say. Don't always assume that this person is bad or has these behaviors, when, you know, you could find out a bit more about them first. My third point is give them a chance to vent. So sometimes the person may genuinely need to let off some steam, and we all need to do that from time to time when we're going through a tough time, just to express how we feel. But there does have to be a limit. So give them a few minutes, and if there's no sign that they're actually going to stop, then I would say you need to step in and actually say something, which takes me on to my next point. Don't agree or stay silent. So if you don't actually agree with what they are saying, or maybe they're gossiping about someone, say something. If you don't, you will end up with a bad reputation too, and this person will think that they've actually found someone that agrees with them in everything. So don't just let them sit there and throw poison around. If, like I said, if you don't agree, just say, well, hang on a minute, I don't think it's that case, and don't you think you're being a bit extreme? Say something, because if you stay silent as well, you'll feel uncomfortable, you'll feel bad about yourself for actually sitting there and listening to all this negativity. So it's always useful to actually not just to stay silent. I know sometimes you feel a bit bad to say something, but for your own sake, it's not good just to sit there quietly and listen to all of that, which actually also follows on to the next point, which is help them to see. So you don't have to be rude, but you do need to be firm. And you can say things, look, have you tried seeing things in this way? Or maybe that's not what our boss was saying or thinking. So give them other alternatives, because sometimes there are certain people that do look at things in such a negative way, and anything another person says or does, there always has to be like a bad intention, or it's because of something negative. When actually people say certain things not actually meaning what that person is thinking. So it happens all the time. So try to help them to see alternatives about why that was said maybe, or why that was done in that way. And so their mind isn't always on the negatives. And then if you've tried all of that and it hasn't worked, and you feel that this person is just dragging you down, the next point is, for your own sake, is to cut them off. And, you know, it is sometimes quite difficult to do that, you know, especially if it's someone close to you or someone in your family. I'm not saying, of course, that you won't talk to members in your family. When I say cut off, I don't mean be rude or just take them off your list for anything. I'm just saying there are times when you have to distance yourself. So if you find that negativity starting, or the person's gossiping, or it's starting to affect you, then just make your excuses and just leave the room, or talk about something else. There is a time when you actually have to say, look, enough is enough.